A 20th consecutive trip to the Final Four. The Big Orange machine is rolling again. Family is the foundation at Syracuse. Father and son built the tradition, and a disciple has added to it. Brothers began the title march. Revolutionized the game. And have carried the torch with style and flair to the next century. But the Orangeman family was shaken in '99 as Virginia would not be denied. The Cavaliers would jump out early, build an insurmountable lead, and route to snapping a title drought of 27 years. A reunion for redemption or justification next. ESPN produces the greatest lacrosse championships in the world. Today, our semifinal at championship weekend. It's the Virginia Cavaliers, number 3 seed, against the Syracuse Orangemen, the number 2 seed. The winner will face Princeton in the championship game on Monday. ESPN will bring it to you at 11 a.m. A lot at stake, folks, in this championship game. It's a semifinal, a great one at store for you. I'm Lee Felsbo, joined by 4-time All-American Quint Kesnick. And Quint, when you look at these two teams, a lot of offense on the field. Let's talk about Virginia. They're led by Connor Gill, and he's a guy who was the MVP of the championship game just a few years ago.
That was when he's a freshman. Now he's a senior. The premier passer in Division I lacrosse last week against Cornell put up a record-setting performance. His numbers on the season, 13 goals, 41 assists. For his career, he's got 145 assists. This effort last Sunday against Cornell was impressive because of its simplicity. He scored the first goal of the game, then he rattled off 9 straight assists to different teammates. He was unbelievable. Behind the net, his head is always up, and the pass is always on the money. Connor Gill, the best passer in the game. He will be covered today by John Glatzel of Syracuse University. Now, these two guys go way back to the high school level, and Glatzel, truthfully, has had the advantage in the head-to-head matchup. He is one of the best defenders in the nation.
When you talk about the Syracuse squad, you talk about a lot of offense. Glatzel, of course, will be leading the defense against this offense. 2
freshmen, Johnny Christmas with eye-catching speed, and Joe Yavoli, the left-handed sharpshooter. Those 2 players have complemented Gill. It's really put Connor Gill in a comfort zone behind the cage, knowing that he can distribute to the 2 talented youngsters.
And Quint, when you go to the offense of Syracuse, you talk about 2 guys. Kaufman and Powell are continuing the legacy of tremendous scoring at Syracuse.
Dynamic individual performers. Mike Powell plays at hyperspeed. He can break your ankles and it has a flashy no-look pass. Then you got Josh Kaufman, can shoot with either hand. Very powerful on the dodge, demands the double team. The best 1-2 punch in the country.
Joining us in our broadcast will be Steve Cyphers on the sideline. A lot of great stories here, a lot of emotion. And Steve, your first story has a little bit of both.
Exactly, and it starts on each end of the field with the goalies. For Syracuse, it's a freshman. Jay Pfeiffer, he's a redshirt freshman. Watch him today. He's 11.
We're at Rutgers Stadium, our second semifinal matchup. Lee Felsmo, Quint Kesnick, Steve Cyphers along with us on the sideline. Perfect conditions to play lacrosse. Great day here as championship weekend continues. Dom Starja leads Virginia into this semi.
Starja's known for his recruiting wizardry. This guy brings in more talent. Won the national title in 1999, fell short 2 years, the 94 and 96 finals, where Virginia lost in overtime twice. But he's been here before, and he's got a packed offensive lineup.
John Desko in his 4th season at the helm of the Syracuse Orangemen.
3 trips to the championship game in his first 3 years. Has kind of retooled the Syracuse system. They're less run and gun. They're more precise on offense. And he, as an ex-defenseman, puts more emphasis on the defensive end.
John Desko looking to put his stamp on the storied history of Syracuse. A tremendous crowd here at Rutgers Stadium with these great conditions. Championship weekend continues tomorrow with Division II and III championships. And then we'll be with you live on Monday as the winner of this game faces the Princeton Tigers. Michael Springer, this is Michael Powell, the emotional, artistic leader, really the creative force of the offensive end.
If you take a look at Syracuse, they're going to present matchup problems to any team they face. And it starts with Mike Powell right there. His quickness, his dynamic ability with the ball on his stick demands the double team. And then that puts the other team's defense in motion. And from there, it gets ugly. You got shooters like Mike Springer and Brian Nee and Kaufman. Spencer Wright and Brian Soliday. The best offensive team in the nation, Syracuse, 14 points per game.
And Virginia will be challenging this team with a lot of young players. We talked about Connor Gill in our open, and Christmas and Yavoli. Those two guys are freshmen, and they will be challenged in our first semifinal. Hopkins, young freshman, took about a half of a game to get accustomed to the pressure of playing in front of almost 30,000 people.
John Christmas, the blinding, eye-catching speed, just can run by a flat-out sprinter. And then Yavoli has done nothing wrong. He is an incredible finisher from in front of the goal. His shooting percentage is outstanding, rarely misses the cage, and can catch anything thrown to him inside the beltway. The guy's got hands that are just amazing.
He has a 44% shooting accuracy mark, 37 goals on the season on only 84 shots. And Christmas, a very balanced attack with 26 goals and 15 assists. Teams listen to the instructions from the refs. They come across and shake hands. 10 guys on the field getting ready to do battle.
Faceoffs will be huge. Syracuse lost 20 of 23 faceoffs in the quarterfinals against Duke. Chris Bickle, he's their main draw man. Virginia will use two players, Jack DeVilliers, number 20, and number 34, Jason Leno. And as a team in crucial games this year, Virginia has struggled winning faceoffs.
Bickle only had 3 of 23 faceoffs last week. Let's see if he can make an adjustment here. Thought he had the ball. It was not picked up yet, but Syracuse gets possession. Wing play, critical when you want to get possession of the ball. Jarrett Park gets it in the offensive zone. Look at him slicing inside the defense. But Virginia just collapse the whole offensive zone, and they get the ball back.
Park is a great story, a two-sport athlete. Freshman star on the Syracuse soccer team.
Virginia now sets up their first offensive situation. Whistle blows on the field. It's a little bit complicated when they switch ends of the field these days because you make so many substitutions to get the right people in place. Christmas in an isolation move, using his great speed to put pressure right away on Syracuse. He went one-on-one right off the bat and challenged immediately.
And this matchup, we're going to have to keep our eye on it because Saul Bliss is one of the biggest defenders in the nation. 6'3", 215-pound junior. Christmas, though, with his speed, it might be a tough matchup for Bliss. He's almost too big for his own good, and Christmas is going to utilize his speed.
Another isolation. This time Shannon comes in. He goes far pipe, and Virginia scores first. Another isolation move, and A.J. Shannon really had a tremendously accurate shot to put it inside the orange pipe.
Virginia is going to pick on the defensive midfielders, and you see right here, they take the face-off, and the defensive specialist Pachia to the net. Shannon from Canada loves to shoot it left-handed and loves to shoot low. Buries this against Pfeiffer.
Back to the face-off circle as you look at A.J. Shannon. Good move for him as they come in. And Virginia collects another face-off. Pusha was in there for that face-off, and they made a change. Christmas comes rifling in with his speed from the goalie's left side. And Virginia has stunned Syracuse with a 2-0 lead.
Desco's speechless on the sideline. We're going to have a slashing foul to boot here. Christmas just too fast. Turbocharged, takes it, and runs by Saul Bliss like he's standing still and buries it to the near side. Incredible effort. Bliss has got to change his angles. He has not respected the speed of that man right there. John Christmas, the freshman from Ardmore, PA.
First Shannon, then Christmas, and Pfeiffer has not had a chance to get comfortable. 2 hard shots, well placed. 18 seconds between the goals. And a penalty on that play. They'll play a man short. The first extra man play for Virginia. Not only a 2-goal lead, but here comes some pressure on their EMO.
Nothing like getting the young players involved, getting them comfortable with this unique arena, and getting Christmas involved right away.
Yavoli inside, behind the back. What a great shot for Virginia to can that one. Jarrett Little puts it in there for goal number 3. Beautifully placed, and a tremendous behind-the-back shot to give him more room on the shot has Pfeiffer absolutely reeling.
Jared Little from Carthage, the same school that produced Mike Powell and Josh Kaufman. One of the first Carthage players ever to go to Virginia. The extra man, though, you see he's covered well, but somehow puts that behind his back and beats Pfeiffer. Here it is again. You see the coverage is not particularly bad. No angle, so he tucks it over his shoulder. Jared Little on the extra man.
Infraction on the face-off against Chris Bickley. He moved too quickly, and Virginia gets it. 3 goals in the last 42 seconds. This is normally the stuff of Syracuse legend, but Virginia is taking it right to him. No fear here as Christmas attacks Saul Bliss again. Obviously, Quint, this is something that Dom Starja feels was an advantage to him.
Round 3 right there, though, won by Bliss. Give him credit. I just think Bliss will be in good shape. He just needs to react to the speed of Christmas. It's kind of a unique assignment for him, being so big, Christmas so fast. He's got to re-gauge the speed of Christmas and take the proper angles. He'll be fine from here, I believe.
They played in the first game of the season, and Saul Bliss held Christmas to 1 goal in that game. They throw it out of bounds and give the ball back to Virginia again. No comfort level yet for the Syracuse Orangemen, who come in here probably thinking their ticket is half punched to go to the championship.
Rough start for Jay Pfeiffer right there. One of the keys to me for Virginia is possessing the ball today, making Syracuse play defense. But what that does is it keeps the ball out of the stick of Mike Powell and Josh Kaufman. And what I've seen historically with those two is when they don't get many touches, they tend to make poor decisions.
It's been in Virginia's offensive end the whole game. Not 2.5 minutes yet gone by. This is a very early game, and the pressure has been intense on the defense of Syracuse. Yavoli looking for Christmas. Connor Gill on the employ here. They put him to the crease. They pulled the finisher off, and they put Connor Gill in the crease, meaning the best defenseman, John Glatzel, was kind of taken out of the slide packages.
Ooh, Pfeiffer made a save there. He never really saw. Partial screen in front. And Brendan Moeller, the best in the nation. Unfortunately, you've got to stop the Syracuse attack today, not their midfielders.
Nick Russo looking for the slide. He comes inside. The shot by Powell gets over the defensive check of Ned Bowen, and the first big-time save for Tillman Johnson. Powell gets it back. Powell putting pressure inside. Behind the back feed, and in the crease on Syracuse will give Virginia the ball. push call, though. And they're going to put it right back in Syracuse hands. They reset very quickly. Kaufman tried to get position on the defense as he backed in.
Powell's shot, you'll see the save by Johnson, who tends to go low sometimes. You'll see him cheat low. That time he saw it all the way, controls his rebound. That ball nearly kicked over the goal line.
Syracuse now with a little bit of offense, possession time. And fresh midfield in for them. Mike Smith with the ball. Smith out of Baldwin High School in New York. Springer, the finisher, off to the wing.
Smith, Malone, and Hardy, the second midfield line.
This is Tom Hardy, one of the captains, trying to get it inside. He does. Kaufman, 3 fakes, and Kaufman buries it to make it a 3-1 game. He had all the time in the world once he got the ball.
And a little action after the goal here. We're going to have a penalty. It either may be taunting against Kaufman or a foul against Virginia. Kaufman really stood in front of Tillman Johnson. Watch the fakes. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No way Tillman Johnson can make the save, and that could be taunting right there because a foul was dropped. Or it could have been a late hit on Virginia. Here it is. Great isolation. Kaufman tiptoeing the crease, burying that ball.
Quint, it's going to be against Virginia because they're bringing out their extra man offense. So it was the hit on Virginia. Not only did they allow the goal, but now they're down a man.
It was a huddle of players after the goal. Words were being exchanged. Some laundry was dropped. So the foul against Virginia.
Right up top, moving it around. Spencer Wright, number 6, interesting in the fact that he came from California, showing some of the growth of lacrosse. Kaufman down low. Powell gets it to the left-hand side. Springer, he's got Kaufman right there.
That play was designed for Springer's outside shot. We call him the stealth bomber because of his velocity. Fastest shot in the game.
Spencer Wright goes to the right hand, taking away a little bit of his angle, and Johnson, windshield wiper, puts it behind the net. But still, Syracuse with the explosive shots in possession. 6-on-5, extra man opportunity. Springer, and he misses to the left. Boy, that's what a goalie hates to see. Springer up top with time and room. Don Desco, a little concerned about the start with Syracuse down by 3, now 3-1.
Shot blocked by the defense. I tell you, that goes a long way. Steve Holmes selling out in front to block that shot.
Great job for Syracuse to come up there and beat Virginia to the ball. Springer. Teams at even strength, 6-on-6. Rocket shot by Mike Powell. He handcuffed Tillman Johnson. He dropped the stick low, and Quint, he put it right on his fists and really handcuffed the stick save.
Nobody else in lacrosse would even dare that shot. The cocky confidence of Mike Powell. Sidearm rips it. Johnson just he took an inch off the post, and the ball was past him on the near side.
So Kaufman and Powell, the 2 players we profiled early on, the guys who have led the Syracuse offense all season long, step up to the plate. They were down 3-0. Kaufman, Powell make it a 3-2 game. What a wild beginning to an offensive show in our semifinal number 2.
Ooh, illegal procedure against DeVilliers, the face-off specialist from Virginia. He moved early slightly, and then Bickle moved more. The fans thought it was against Bickle, but the ref was right there. Anticipation, getting that first move on the whistle, so important for those face-offs.
Powell taking on Brett Hughes, and Brett Hughes wins that battle. Great stick skills Hughes has. Gets the ball back. Tillman Johnson now clearing out of the box. Gives it to Nick Russo. Emotional player for Virginia. A great game last week and a close quarterfinal win. Christmas slows things down. The pace has been incredible in the first 6 minutes of this game, 7-8 minutes. Christmas, South Bliss really getting more comfortable with what we talked about, Glenn. He's really judging the speed of Christmas better now.
Yeah, he'll get more and more comfortable. He'll be fine. Bliss, to me, is one of the emerging great defenseman in the country. I wouldn't be surprised next year if he's one of the top 5 in the nation.
A.J. Shannon trying to get loose on Tom Hardy. Shannon, great stick fakes, out top, Moeller lets a cannon go and just misses the pipe.
Shannon is sitting on a big day today. The book against Syracuse's defense is their short stick defenders are not very effective. Shannon is an ex-attackman who loves to isolate on the wing. He can generate maybe 5 or 6 shots today, maybe put up 2 or 3 goals.
And that time it was Connor Gill getting off a pretty effective shot on Glatzel. The reverse roll coming around the goalie's left. He went a little bit wide, but Christmas with the speed and the attack backs it up.
Interesting storyline, though. Gill, they're putting him inside. They're making Glatzel be the slide man, the double team man. Now they rotate him off the crease.
Good feed up to Yavoli, but Pfeiffer surprisingly coming up with a very comfortable save. He has now gotten himself into a comfort level after that first barrage of shots that he faced in the 2 minutes of the game.
Flashy pass by Billy St. George, deep in his own zone, puts the ball over his shoulder in front of the goal.
UVA out shooting Syracuse at this point 8-5, and most of that was done in the first 3 minutes of the game. Springer looking for some help on the slides, going against Ned Bowen. Ball checked down, Tillman Johnson releases very quickly, and here comes the Cavaliers. Trey Whitty gets it upfield, waits, tremendous stick skills. This is their best long pole defender. You'll see a lot of him. Connor Gill sneaking around. No, it was Yavoli with his great speed, the left-hander freshman. Quint, they are really getting the green light. Virginia is to go to the goal if there's an opening. They are not sitting on anything.
Awful quick possessions. Trey Whitty has scored a goal this year. Yavoli just front swings. St. George is forced to jump over the netting, and that gives Yavoli that 1-step separation that he needed. Got to keep coming there. Young players, you're watching this game. Turn the corner. Increase your angle.
Pfeiffer brings the ball out on a clear. Virginia dropping back to the midfield line before they put pressure. Glatzel now in possession of it. The midfielder on the top of the screen tries to give him room to go over. And they're going to call Connor Gill offsides.
They're going to say Glatzel had possession and Gill stepped on the line.
It was a great hustling play by Connor Gill, going over the head, but dancing and tiptoeing along that line.
It's been a common theme today. A lot of these offensive players that people perceive to be great offensive players. If you watch game number 1, Ryan Boyle, the work he did generating those second chances, you can just see Gill with that hustle play right there. Unfortunately, went offsides.
Spencer Wright draws the defense to him. Another extra man opportunity for Syracuse. They're down by 1. It was a 3-0 lead for Virginia, but the last 2 goals scored by Kaufman and Mike Powell. Springer, rocket, fakes inside, takes the left hand, and goes high. That was his for the taking after he bought on the fake. He got Trey Whitty to buy on that fake, split dodge, and rifle the left hand.
He is such a strong right-handed shooter. Right there, you can see the defender duck for fear for his life. Springer's been clocked at over 100 miles an hour.
He's got it again, up top. Kaufman locks and loads, and a nice save there. It could have hit the pipe.
You could hear it. It hit the post.
So Tillman Johnson had it measured, but it just went by him and hit the iron. Kaufman again reloads. Teams at even strength, 6-on-6.
Tillman Johnson should see 40-plus shots today from this Syracuse team, who doesn't have a weak shooter in the litter. All of them can absolutely bring it.
They average 42 shots, and they hold their opposition to about 33 on the season average. Spencer Wright taking a little time off the clock on this possession. And here comes Virginia.
Crowd doesn't like that holding call. They felt that the Syracuse Spencer Wright was trying to draw that call. There you see Trey Whitty's made some huge plays for Virginia this year. Very active defensive long stick this season.
Chris Ratelli had the ball last time. Chris Ratelli on the field right now, one of their offensive stars in the midfield. Watch for a transition play if 25 gets the ball and heads up. He's kind of leaving early to try to get the fast break. Number 25 at the right of your screen for Virginia.
Virginia playing without Their first-team All-American defenseman, Mark Kuntz, hurt late in the season, tore his ACL, done for the year. Virginia struggled a bit without Kuntz in the lineup. They've had about 3 weeks to retool. To me, right now, their clearing game seems to be missing Kuntz more than anything. They're not getting the ball out of their defensive zone very effectively.
Mike Powell rolls by Brent Hughes, but Hughes had it measured and it went wide of Tillman Johnson. But look at the offensive set of Syracuse, a historically explosive team. The explosion has started with Virginia. Syracuse looking to calm things down a little bit and take long possessions. This has been about a 3-minute possession as Brian Need, number 5, is in the game. This is Soliday. He's an outside gun right there. Again, wide, backed up nicely. Springer. Taking his time, moving it back up front. Berman on Springer.
He is a time and room shooter. He is not a dodger, does not have very good foot speed. And so Virginia sometimes will bump a short stick on him.
Syracuse makes an adjustment, getting Tom Hardy in the game. Now looks like the one-on-one set up. Hardy to Kaufman. Takes a shot for the right-hand upper corner. He had enough room to let it go. Nick Russo there to give him a little bit of resistance, but they maintain possession by backing up that shot. A lot of goals in the first 4 minutes, Quint. Things have calmed down since.
Things have settled down. Syracuse very comfortable now in their offensive patterns. You can see Virginia's packed in, almost in a zone here.
Great stop by Tillman Johnson. Michael Powell with that ankle-breaking move you talk about, Quinn, and he got the shot off, but Tillman Johnson right in his chest makes the save. Virginia, fast break. Connor Gill looking to distribute. Inside does. Shot by Yavoli. Follow up by Crispus. And Pfeiffer makes the save.
Alert save by Pfeiffer. Really read that well. Didn't guess. And at the last second, boom, he popped down and got his stick on it. It was a fine shot by Yavoli. You can see how dangerous Gill is in those creative situations where the game's not very settled. Gill just finds the open man and gives you the ball where you can do something with it. Credit Pfeiffer, though. Big save right there.
Nick Schmitz goes off the field. Under a minute. You see the time winding down in the first quarter. Virginia just came out on fire. 3 quick goals in the first few minutes of this quarter. Springer off the shoulder of Tillman Johnson, then the pipe, and it went back down. That was a big-time save.
You talk about courage and guts, folks. The lacrosse ball, it's got some weight to it. Springer comes into 5 yards and gives you everything he's got. That ball's moving 90 miles an hour at your face.
Johnson got a piece of it, sent it to the pipe. Kept the ball out of the net. Hardy up front. Glatzel, fast break. Is there enough time to take the shot? One more shot. Oh, the check at the last minute will keep them from scoring. Pat Hogan was right in the face of Tillman Johnson, but the Cavaliers push him back. 3-2 is the way we'll end the first quarter. An electric offensive show. Second quarter. We're back at Rutgers. Michael Powell on the screen, the offensive star for Syracuse, but Tillman Johnson has been a story in the nets for Virginia.
Mike Powell, too slick, too quick, too fast for one man to cover, but Tillman Johnson's bailing the Virginia defense out. First, the save, and then right off the chest. Johnson sharp early. He's made more saves. Actually, today he's got 3. In the first meeting, Leaf, in 4 quarters, he only made 4, so he's off to a good start. This being a showcase game, expect a big effort from the emotional Tillman Johnson.
And he had a lift early on because his offense put on the first 3 goals of this game. It was 3-0 Virginia before Kaufman and Powell answered. Now, Quint, that was all in the first 7 minutes, 5 goals. In the last 8 minutes of that half, neither team scored, so things have settled down. And now it gets a little more of a tactical war. 8 shots, no goals after the start that had 4 shots and 3 goals for Virginia. 9 shots, no goals. So second quarter will have a different kind of profile as Christmas starts for Virginia. Rotelli, the offensive star in the midfield, looks for a pick from Shannon. Rotelli inside, got some room, and he's got rope. Chris Rotelli just too strong, too much room, no help there. You've got to double up and help him out as Pfeiffer absorbs that one. Virginia back to a 2-goal lead.
Rotelli unassisted. Terrific quickness. Look at the clear out by all the Virginia players are really on that side of the goal that give Rotelli space to operate. The double team a little late. That's poor defense. You can't go over the head like this in a national semifinal game. There's no help. No one sliding to take the body, and Rotelli takes advantage of it. A sensational isolation player with the ball in his stick.
Fast break off the face-off, but they'll calm things down. Rotelli is definitely one of the most feared offensive stars in lacrosse. You need more than one guy focusing on his offensive efforts.
He will typically draw Joe Sebastianski, number 42 for Syracuse. But the matchup changed on that last possession. Rotelli was smart enough to see he was being covered by Brett Walther.
Syracuse gets it back to Springer. Spencer Wright up top as Syracuse just taking that patient offense and looking for the right matchups. This is Soliday going to his left, just knocks the Virginia player down, and you notice the right arm coming up. That's a warding off of the defensive check, and you lose the ball when you do that.
Two big-time athletes. Soliday, 6'3", 210. Nick Russo, one of the tough guys in lacrosse, getting down and giving him some cross-check defense. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds. Last week in the Cornell game, he absolutely freight-trained two Cornell Big Red players with the ball on his stick. Russo just dropped the shoulders and just pummeled him. Tough guy. Russo drives the emotion of the Virginia team.
Showing some of that intestinal fortitude that Jay Gilbert had for this team when they won the championship. Nick Russo emotional in his leadership. Rotelli now back with the ball. Definitely a focal point. Billy St. George came out with him on the long stick that time. Syracuse playing tough defense. Rotelli fakes inside, but St. George is there and makes the check. Different matchup on Rotelli. They put St. George out on the long pole.
Well played by St. George, but Bliss is going to be nailed for a push. St. George has made two terrific plays, one on a loose ball, and there is big Solomon Bliss.
Sol Bliss against Christmas. Big move to the pipe. Rotelli takes it up top, and Shannon on the far side.
You can see how Bliss is giving him a bigger cushion anytime Christmas gets the ball. He's not stepping out and overplaying him.
Slide came early, and Shannon finally found an open man. Rotelli. Billy Gladding brings the ball in. Nick Schmitz, number 4, playing defense on him. Walther route. Brett Walther gives up the defensive responsibility to Wright. Pfeiffer picks it right out of the air. Nicely done on Billy Gladding.
Confident save by the left-hander Pfeiffer.
Big-time offensive shots. Tillman Johnson getting offense in his face.
Creative pattern by Springer and Powell on what appeared to be no fast break. All of a sudden it was. You see the ball being carried into the zone. It's kicked up top to Springer. And watch Powell sneak underneath right there. Right to space. Lifts it. Top shelf. Doesn't get any prettier than that. Sneaks back door. There he is. Mike Powell. Brilliant move without the ball. Most of lacrosse offensively is played without the ball.
Springer gets 2 assists on the day so far. Powell, his second goal. And creativity is what he's all about. Slides inside, really threw the defensive man off and didn't give Tillman Johnson a chance to set up on that play. Virginia still leads 4-3, 11:35 left.
It happened so fast. Most players will step to the outside there and catch that right-handed. Powell just planted with his outside foot. Boom, cut to the middle of the field. He was open, and then the finish. No way Tillman Johnson was going to make that save when he dropped his stick low and popped it up high.
Take a look at speed in sports. We talk about the shot speed. Quint, let's talk about speed in different sports as it relates to lacrosse.
Randy Johnson with the 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Al McGinnis with the slap shot over 100. And then Andrew Roddick, last year so impressive in the U.S. Open, 142-mile-an-hour serve. In lacrosse, we're getting up to nearly 100 miles an hour. Earlier today, Doniger pinged one at 94 miles an hour. Powell in the 90s range with accuracy as well.
If you're in a shooting contest, you'll break that 100-mile-an-hour mark. You'll hit 100, 102. On the run in game conditions, you're in the 90s.
We've got our jugs guys here. There they are, parked behind the cage. Surprised you're not wearing a helmet or a chest protector. That is not conducive to a long life, standing behind a lacrosse goal with a jugs gun.
And it's not easy to get a good read on these shots either, because they don't come from the same angle at all times. Virginia 4-3. They get off to that 3-0 lead. So 3 of the last 4 goals scored by Syracuse. Michael Powell with the trademark identification, the eye black, giving him that distinctive look. They get set to go back at it. Michael Powell, sophomore attackman, really the heart and soul, the emotional leader of the offense of Syracuse.
First team All-American last year as a freshman. That has only been done a number of times. The latest back in the mid-'80s, Del Dressel, a midfielder for Johns Hopkins. Potentially Mike Powell, a 4-time first team All-American.
Christmas against Saul Bliss. Christmas got a little bit of an edge there, took the shot. Pfeiffer just swept it to the side. Push call against Virginia. Going to that loose ball, it'll go to Syracuse.
Gill was angling for inside leverage, and Glatzel just nailed him on the back of the shoulder.
Pfeiffer throws it away. This could be trouble. He has to get back in the goal. There won't be any fast break, but he's thrown away in a possession. Bad mistake, Quint. Close game, semifinal in the championship series, and you just throw it away.
And now you've got some offensive midfielders for Syracuse stuck on the field playing defense. Guys who aren't really in their comfort zone guarding this Virginia attack.
Syracuse has taken the shot lead 16-15, but Virginia has had the ball for the last minute and a half. Pfeiffer back between the pipes.
Syracuse playing a zone behind the man defending the ball. You see the white jerseys in front, kind of in a zone formation.
Nick Russo gets it over to Moeller. These two midfielders have logged a lot of miles for Dom Starsia, but have come up on the offensive end this year more times than they ever have. Moeller, number 23, and Nick Russo, 27.
They log an awful lot of miles.
Virginia one-on-one behind. Christmas comes around and beats Pfeiffer with a bounce shot. They're going to give it to him, yes. Christmas with his blinding speed and quickness just comes around, beating everybody who tries to make a defensive check to give the Wahoos a 2-goal lead.
3 years ago, I heard rumblings out of Pennsylvania that there was a player there who had potential to be one of the greatest in the sport's history, and it was that man right there, Johnny Christmas. Dom Starsia located him early, got him in the Virginia pipeline through his camps. The recruiting wars never really existed. Christmas has come to Virginia, and he's been an immediate impact on the landscape of college lacrosse.
This team was confused last year on where to put their key players. Didn't have enough firepower on offense. I'm talking about Virginia. They bring in Christmas, they bring in Yavoli, 2 freshmen, and they have just totally changed the team around. With Gill as the leader and the just blinding athletic ability of Christmas and Yavoli, this team is as good as anybody in the game.
Come on, Saul.
Saul Bliss trying to stay with Christmas. Double team, triple team, ball still in his stick. Rotelli. Christmas went through 4 different defensive checks. A.J. Shannon working on the far side.
This is Yavoli's not really a ball carrier. He'll usually give that up.
Christmas gets it from Yavoli and puts it on the arm pad of Pfeiffer. They snuck that one in there. Yavoli has shown the ability not only to finish, but to find the open man like he did last week for the winning goal in the quarterfinal game. Chris Rotelli. Working in for the left-handed shot, just goes wide of the pipe. Nice long possession for Virginia.
Multiple shot possessions, one of the things you look for. And that's not a bad shot. You'd rather shoot for the far post.
Johnny Desko taking it all in. He was an All-American player at Syracuse, picked up the reins from Roy Simmons Jr. This is his 4th year. Yavoli, switch comes, it gives the ball up. Virginia to Rotelli this time. All their shooters are out there. A.J. Shannon. Gladding on the far side. Yavoli didn't quite cleanly get it. Here comes Pfeiffer to get possession.
At this level, we take it for granted that the player's going to make those type of passes, but you forget, if you're out there and you've never picked up a lacrosse stick, it's actually not that easy. And so a 12-yard pass like that, we take for granted, but oftentimes you see the guys just misconnect.
And Quentin, you've been in this atmosphere as a player. There's just no other atmosphere like this to prepare yourself, unless you're Syracuse, where your players have been here 3 times in 3 years. It's tough to get set to play in front of 25, 30,000 people. It doesn't happen every week. Brian Nee, number 5 on the field. This is Michael Powell.
Virginia in the zone here. Or a real packed-in man-to-man. I can't tell. Right now, every Virginia defender is within about a 10-yard radius of the cage.
Springer.
It is a zone. First time Virginia's shown zone.
That's something you thought they might do with the loss of Kuntz.
And that's what they are hoping that Tillman Johnson can make the outside perimeter saves and a couple from the inside. That time, I believe it was Spencer Wright from about 8 yards.
Spencer Wright found a little seam inside. He gets it, turns right away and shoots. Put it at the feet of Tillman Johnson. Rotelli, no, that time it was Moeller from the outside. Now Syracuse likes this speed a little more. Let's see if they take it to the cooker. I'll tell you what, 5 years ago, in a transition like this, they would always go to the shot. Now, more times than not, Syracuse will pull it back, go for the quality possession, giving up that first strike offense. Michael Powell looking to feed up top. Kaufman will take his time.
Virginia back to man-to-man. They're going to ask the Syracuse offense to make some adjustments on the fly by switching defenses.
This is Brian Nee from Soliday. Powell sees a little bit of a seam, back to Nee. He's got a big shot and goes just a little bit wide. He's about as good as a good left-handed shooter as you'll find in Division I.
Time and room shooter. Terrific velocity. That time he mixes it up. The book on knees, he dropped the stick low and pulls the ball high. That time he dropped it low and kept it low. Johnson didn't fall for it, but he just missed that far post.
Brian Nee made his trademark, or his mark on the game last year on the extra man almost exclusively. This year getting a lot more playing time in the regular rotation.
Virginia back in their zone D now, packing it in.
Brian Nee far side. Hoffman wheeling inside. Great change of direction. Up top, Brian Nee couldn't pull it down. Was looking for the big shot and didn't pull the ball down.
2 straight possessions. The zone for Virginia has been effective. They're going to sacrifice some time of possession, but you got a hot goalie. You got a Syracuse team that does not appear comfortable yet attacking that zone. Stick with that strategy. Last week in the quarterfinals against Cornell, they showed zone maybe 3 times during the course of the game. Game definitely slowed down to a more pedestrian pacing.
And I think Virginia did what they wanted to do, which was come out strong, get on top, and then really control what's going on. They've got the matchups they want. Pfeiffer going high to pull that one down.
A force by Christmas, one of the first poor decisions he's made all day. Just trying to do a little too much in that possession.
He seems to get by almost anybody who's on him initially, Quint. Big shot inside as they come down and push the offense. And Walther comes down with that shot. Brett Walther.
Ned Bowen snaking his way out of trouble there in the clear. Syracuse is tough to clear against, because Powell, Kaufman, and Springer are such hustlers, so physical and such athletic players. They don't let you out of your zone without a couple whacks in the arms.
5 minutes to go in the game. 8 goals scored. 5-3. Virginia leads by 2. They've led throughout. Nice location on that shot by Moeller, but Pfeiffer picked it up. Moeller riding hard, ball on the ground. Picked up by Syracuse. Hardy looking into the inside. Syracuse will pull it back now. Setting up as they put fresh legs on. The offensive players come back onto the field. Down by 2. The closest they've gotten was 3-2 and then a 4-3 score, but Virginia has led throughout this game. Kaufman. Strong and powerful. Here comes the slide. Gets rid of it right away once he recognized the slide. Inside. A lot of room for that shot. Virginia made a mistake as they gave a little bit too much room. Chris Rotelli started coming off his man, and Syracuse recognized it right away.
I believe they were packed into their zone defense, and this was just communication breakdown if you're Virginia. Tillman Johnson hung out to dry. Nothing he could do about that. He needs to shake that one off. But the nifty passing out front, you can see the man inside wide open, just catches it, turns. The assignment was missed. It was Valone, the sophomore from Corning, New York. Just some poor communication defensively right there.
5-4, back to within 1. Swapping goals. And the Virginia player down as you get a timeout called by the Virginia sideline. 4 minutes left. The Cavaliers playing tough. Nick Russo getting off the carpet, off the natural grass surface here at Rutgers Stadium. We want to remind you that tomorrow, well, this had a surprise start as we look at Virginia on the sideline. They came out and scored 3 goals in less than 2 minutes and have never been behind since. 5-4 is where we stand. Not a comfort level by any stretch of the imagination, but Dom Starja has to feel good that his team, with maybe not as much depth, has really taken it to Syracuse.
The game plan seems to have de-emphasized Connor Gill's presence in their offense.
Or almost acquiescing to say, well, Glatzel is going to take him out of the game, right, so we'll take Glatzel out of the game.
Exactly, so either bringing him to the crease. Really, Gill has not been a part of the Virginia offense, and that's worked fine. When guys like Christmas can penetrate with the success they're having, they're going to be in good shape. Christmas and Rotelli, to me, get everything going. And they throw in A.J. Shannon once in a while. They're okay not attacking with Gill.
Again, the second part of that, Quint, if you would agree, is that he has to keep Glatzel away from the slide packages. If Connor Gill can occupy him, he's got to keep him away from what he can do to help him.
Or, better than that, make Glatzel the slide guy, so Glatzel has to leave Gill. The book on Glatzel is that he's not very good off the ball. He doesn't make good decisions as far as the team defense.
Could be a factor in the game with Virginia ahead. Virginia controlling the ball. This is Connor Gill against Glatzel. We haven't seen too many of these one-on-ones. Gets the double team, St. George. Wheels back for the right-handed shot, and Connor Gill puts in goal number 6. A tremendous move with almost no angle. Gill, one-on-one with Glatzel.
Gill takes him up left-handed. This is what we call a question mark dodge, because it looks like a question mark. See him come up, circle around, and then score to the far side. You'll see the move is come up, around like that. That looks like a question mark. Here it is. He turns for the right hand, shoots far side. Perfect accuracy. Not bad defense by Glatzel, but score a big goal right there for Connor Gill. Emotionally, that's got to give him some confidence in that matchup.
Face-offs, Virginia 5, Syracuse 4 at this point in the game. And look at UVA bringing that ball down. Great check out top. Glatzel really laying on the lumber. But Gill picks it up. Gill's got St. George on him at this moment, and now Glatzel there to back up.
Virginia's face-off unit, they run all 3 players, they take the face-off, and then all 3 players have to run out of the game. So that leaves them vulnerable to some quick double teams right off the face-off. The delay in that offense was that Gill was waiting for 3 substituting players.
Ball behind the net right now as they try to get some control.
Back right! Back right! Who's going?
This is number 4, Jarrett Little, the freshman.
Syracuse in their zone defense now.
Bowley puts it right into the stick of Pfeiffer.
Who would have ever guessed that the two most athletic programs in Division I lacrosse, Syracuse and Virginia, would be forced to play zone defenses because they can't match up man for man?
And elect to hold the ball for so much possession time. That's what it's boiled down to. John Desko hoping to have a chance to play in the finals for the 4th straight year, as we've mentioned, against the Princeton Tigers, who wait for the winner of this game. Teams are at even strength. Syracuse inbounds. It looks like
Zone for
still
Virginia.
a zone for Virginia. They've got 4 poles in the game, 3 across the bottom and 1 long stick up top. Inside to Springer. He was parked just inside of Brendan Moeller. And they waited to the right moment. He just redirected in about a half a second.
Wow, he just tucks that over the shoulder of Tillman Johnson. Springer, the stealth bomber, but that was a touch shot. Here he is, number 10. Finds the seam, catch, release, over the shoulder of Tillman Johnson. Powell puts it right where Springer can one-touch it. The defense is there, but you've got to take some arms. Check hard inside. They do not. Springer, nice target inside. It's almost like a center in basketball, the way he can shield off those defenders.
He's got 1 goal and 1 assist, Springer does on the day. Game back within 1 goal. Virginia still leads. They've led every minute, every second of this game. Connor Gill gets control of that face-off. He's pushed around for a little while, and now that we're in 2 minutes, you see, oh, they get inside to Yvonne, and Pfeiffer makes the save of the game. Yvonne had it 4 feet in front of Pfeiffer and shot as if he was a right-hander. Put it right into the left-hander stick.
Jay Pfeiffer quietly has silenced any doubters. There he is. He's got 10 saves.
Back on the other end, Hoffman gets the ball. That save so critical. Let's see if we can mark that as one of the biggest plays in the game. And timeout called by Syracuse. Things are getting a little raggy. A minute to go. He wants to get the final shot.
Now they may switch, but the zone the last 2 times down has not been effective. Valone, his goal from Hardy, and Springer from Powell. Inside, they're not getting it done. Nice play.
Springer finishes again from the same spot. This time they bring it up. Kaufman comes from behind, hits Springer. It's a tie game with 55 seconds left.
Choreographed to perfection by the Syracuse coaching staff. They kick the ball behind, and Springer is wide open as you could ever imagine. Puts it behind his shoulder. Sensational play, the little pick play. It's a high pick inside. You can see Virginia's late in getting there. They don't communicate. You've got to switch in that situation inside, much like basketball.
Game tied at 6. It's the first tie of the game. Springer, pretty big day. He's working on 2 goals and 2 assists. Virginia with possession, and I think they called a timeout. Let's see. No.
Syracuse
left
out of that offensive zone too early. As you said in game number 1, on a face-off, those players are not allowed to release until possession.
The offensive and the defensive players that play them, that's 3 offensive guys, 3 defensive players on either end of the field, stay behind that restraining line until possession. Virginia, plenty of time to get that lead back before halftime. They go back to the matchup. Christmas against Saul Bliss. 33 against 33.
Get up, Saul, get up. Turn him, turn him.
Christmas change direction once, twice, 3 times. Bliss locking up on him. And checks the ball down.
Well done by Bliss. Oh, he got hammered on the ankle.
Saul Bliss could be hurt.
Tell you, Christmas, his energy level seems to be fading a little as Bliss seems to be getting stronger and stronger on those one-on-one situations. That time, Bliss played it to perfection. Here it is, the cross-handed hold right there, shoves him out with his forearm, makes the check. Now, somewhere along the line here, Bliss hurts his foot. Let's see if it's a check. Maybe just twisted it, but terrific effort by Bliss right there. Wins the battle with the speedy John Christmas.
I think it was the tail end of that. We may not have even seen the injury part, but he is not walking well. So this is a blow to them. Bliss finally getting comfortable with the matchup, and he comes off the field.
Don Vidosh comes in, and let me tell you, Syracuse has huge matchup problems with John Christmas. If Saul Bliss is not in the game, they may have to go predominantly to a zone.
Vidosh, a freshman, redshirt freshman, out of Brother Rice in Michigan.
6'2", 205. But from a speed standpoint.
32nd foul, number 33, Virginia.
So the penalty was called.
Stay with him in the second half.
Well, we may have to make some changes there. We got Don Vidosh, who's been our fourth defenseman and doing a nice job all year. We could bump Billy over, but we'll see. We're going to see how Sal's doing right now.
Terrific. Coach, thanks. Back to you, Lee.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's been an interesting first half, Quint. Virginia off with an electrifying start. They were a 3-0 leader before Syracuse came back. Big shots on both ends and big saves to match. Second half coming up.
Syracuse 6, and this the second semifinal game of the NCAA Lacrosse Championship. With me now is the winning coach from the first game today, Coach Bill Tierney from Princeton, who knocked off Johns Hopkins 11-9. Coach, I guess that it's never easy, is it?
Really isn't. It was such a tough game. We have all the respect in the world for Coach Petramala and his Hopkins team. They're just always so well prepared. They play so hard, and it was just a great lacrosse game.
What stood out to me was the way your defense played. Was that the game plan? We can beat them with our defense?
Well, you know, our game plan always is to try to win with defense, but I think the initial part of our game plan worked out very well for us, was to try to get some early. First time we played Hopkins back in March, we only scored 2 goals in the first 3 quarters. And so we needed to get a few more goals to get our confidence up.
You had the goals with B.J. Prager today. He gets 5 goals. In the first meeting between these two teams, he didn't have these goals. What was the difference?
Well, I think the difference was early in the game, our midfielders opened up with the scoring. We got some goals. We got a goal from Brad Dumont, which is a nice goal. And then I think then Hopkins had to slide off B.J. a little bit more. And our guys are always looking for B.J., so he was able to, you know, cash in on some opportunities.
Does this feel like a year ago now when this team won the national title, a team that earlier in the season was 2-4? Does it now feel like a national championship team, the mood around it?
Well, it definitely does. You know, when we were 2-4, it was pretty desperate. We had our backs to the wall, and each and every game has really been a playoff game for us. So this was another one. And so the kids, I can't give enough credit to our seniors. They've persevered through a lot of people saying, okay, Princeton's done, and you know, they won't win the Ivy League title, they won't be in the playoffs, and here we are playing on Memorial Day. So I'm awfully proud of the kids.
And you've now won 8 in a row. One thing that I noticed today, everyone noticed who was here early enough, at the pregame warm-ups, your team came out wearing all the same number on their jerseys, number 14. Tell us why.
Well, number 14 was John Schroeder's number. John was a member of our class of '92 who was killed in the World Trade Center incident. And the kids, we've dedicated our season to John, and they felt that would be a neat way to show the world, and I'm glad you picked it up to just show people that we're dedicating the season to John, and they were united in that effort.
I understand that was the first time that they put those jerseys on in a pregame.
It is, and the kids bought them on their own, and it was really a wonderful idea.
The last thing, do you have a sense of who's going to win this game and which team you prefer to play Monday?
I'd like to play neither of them, and but I'll tell you, they're both wonderfully athletic teams, and usually, you know, you see a game between Syracuse and Virginia, it's going to be a 1-goaler, 13-12 or something like that. You'll see the offenses open up a little in the second half, and I think it's going to be a great second half.
All right, terrific. Coach, thank you for your time. That's it from the field. Let's go back upstairs now to Leaf and Quinn.
Thank you. you, Steve. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game. Princeton playing earlier today against Johns Hopkins. Princeton was the number 4 seed. Hopkins the number 1, but Princeton controlled early.
On the extra man, it was Tierney inside to B.J. Prager, the senior from Garden City. So effective, catching the ball, turning, and beating Murtha, the Hopkins goalie.
Inside, Boyle to Prager. That's the combination.
Princeton got off to a great start. They really put Hopkins on the ropes as Brad Dumont, the left-hander, with the outside shot. He would score 2 really great individual goals, and that would get the Hopkins defense on their heels, really, and the ball movement for Princeton was terrific.
The final was 11-9. Princeton's Prager, 5 goals. Dumont had the 2 complimentary goals. Hopkins, Doniger came up huge with 3. Barry, the freshman, 3 goals. The game was decided in the first half as Princeton rolled off 6 of the first 7 goals. That's the way the first game.
Johnson, if Virginia does go zone defense, putting a lot of pressure on Tillman Johnson to make that outside save.
Well, Johnson's not alone because Pfeiffer's had an incredible day of zone. He's facing Syracuse, so he's getting a lot of shots. So Pfeiffer's really been challenged in this game. 9
saves by the redshirt freshman from Baltimore, and a couple spectacular ones. The effort against Yavoli, to me, was a momentum changer. Here's Yavoli isolating from behind. Pfeiffer down on his knees. He sees it the whole way. Yavoli, again, catches the ball right-handed, this time low. Pfeiffer matches up. So certainly right now, Pfeiffer has Yavoli's number. 3 straight saves there, freshman on freshman. The goaltender from Syracuse, so cool, so calm. I mean, the guy doesn't show any emotion.
Take a look at the numbers from the first half. Quint, does anything jump out?
Nothing really jumps out. I think the face-off battle is even, but look at the ground balls. Virginia hustling, 22-13 advantage. Mike Springer right now, the hero on offense for them, doing a good job getting himself open for high percentage shots.
And Pfeiffer with the 9 saves against 5 for Johnson. We've got a whole half left to come. We'll be back to Rutgers in just a moment. Jersey, Leif Elsmo, Quint Kesnick, and Steve Pfeiffer, Cyphers is on the sideline. Moments ago, he talked to Dom Starsia, the coach of Virginia, about his team.
Coach, how do you keep Syracuse to 6 goals in the first half when the first game you played it was 11?
Well, I thought we just did a good job. I thought we mixed up our defenses a little bit. Kenny Cage stopped some balls, and I'd like to see us even, a little bit better shot selection in our offensive end. I think we could control the pace a little bit better, and we could do better in the second half.
Is controlling tempo of this game going to be a big factor in the outcome?
It's a hard thing to do against these guys, but I think it is, and so we just have to be a little smarter in the second half of the game.
Coach, thanks. Back to you, Leif.
Thank you, Steve, and really working the vocal cords. As you can hear, Dom Starsia absolutely drained from that first half. And Quint, the first half that started out very impressively for Virginia. They really took it to him offensively. The chance that it was evened up. What do they do differently in the second half?
Well, the question is the Christmas for Virginia against Saul Bliss. Is Saul Bliss back in the field? Yes, he is. Is he healthy? Can Christmas dominate that matchup again? Because over the last 12 minutes, it was Bliss who owned Christmas. Right now, Syracuse will have the extra man. This is a huge momentum coming out of the break. Anytime you have the extra man, it's a great opportunity. We've got a little shut-off on the near side. Springer being taken out of the equation.
They go right into a 5-1-4 package. Syracuse looks totally ready for that cutoff. Inside! Easy shot and a score by Spencer Wright. Quint, it looked as if they almost anticipated or have seen Springer being shut off. They went right into a 5-1-4 rotation and found the open man.
Dom Starsia electing to take Springer out. This is Knee, the left-handed shooter, kicks it inside. Great little effort by Spencer Wright, just folding that ball over and making sure he just tucks it around Tillman Johnson. Spencer Wright, Leif, you alluded to it earlier, probably the best high school player ever to come out of the state of California, and there will be many more down the road.
Spencer Wright is more of a story than that. He was also picked as the Amateur Star of the Year and went through a award ceremony in San Diego, met Dick Emberg. So quite an athlete, Spencer Wright, West Coast to East Coast. So a great way to start the second half for Syracuse. They get their first lead of the game. Nick Russo trying to power in and get himself open. You hear Don Starsia barking out orders.
Syracuse has changed the matchup. Billy St. George is now covering Christmas. Bliss is covering Yvoli.
So that would have to lead you to believe that he's not totally healthy. Christmas beat St. George on that one and just shot high.
Christmas smoked St. George. St. George got tangled up in the net. It's what we call the finalizer move, which was patented by Ryan and Casey Powell at Syracuse.
Syracuse bringing the ball back up. Brett Walther back to Powell. Springer now. Syracuse enjoying their first lead. Very patient in the come from behind. Again, they were down 3-0 in the first 2 minutes of the game. Sean Lindsay. Soliday, Spencer Wright. They give it back to Kaufman. Springer's on the crease. Look at the power of Kaufman. Let's see if they get a push call. He dove in, backhanded the shot. Really a great save by Tillman Johnson.
What a save is right. Kaufman launches himself fearlessly across the crease, draws the pushing foul. This is a serious save. Keep your eye on Johnson, sliding across his line like a hockey goalie, stays with the ball in the stick head. You see Kaufman, the strength and power he has. Give Johnson an awful lot of credit for the stick-to-itiveness. You got to stay with that ball all the way across the crease.
Push with possession, Quint, gives Syracuse another extra man. So they are enjoying that extra man advantage, 6-on-5. Virginia not cutting him down, getting off Springer anymore, but a great block there.
They pressed that time. They really stepped out. Even though they're man down, they rotated hard to the ball, and Syracuse was caught off guard.
Kaufman blocks the clearing pass, though, and the ball's still up for grabs.
That's going to be a clearing violation.
The timing situations are something you have to keep in mind. You get 10 seconds to clear that ball out of your defensive zone. Almost an open shot on Johnson. Brian Nee not getting much room to run. Spencer Wright behind.
This is trouble right here with Powell behind.
They missed the connection inside. Teams at even strength. It was only a 30-second penalty, so now it's 6-on-6. But Syracuse enjoys a 7-6 advantage off the extra man goal to open the second half. Johnson again eats the rubber ball. Tremendous save as it just bounces off his face mask.
Body save off the quick release by Kaufman. Nice outlet pass by Hughes.
Pushing call on Soliday. The flag's down, folks, and this will be a delayed call. They'll get a free shot, and then Virginia will have a chance to tie the game. Christmas changing direction on St. George. In for the shot. He's had 2 identical shots beating St. George, and Quinn, he's missed the goal both times.
And he is so close to taking that top side and putting the ball past Pfeiffer. There is Christmas. Gladding drew the foul against Soliday. Soliday was just hammering Gladding on the shoulder in the back. Wonder if this will be a push or a cross check.
This is a chance for Virginia to tie the game. Extra man goals have, or the one goal has put Syracuse ahead. Virginia extra man 1-for-1. Little, the 3rd goal of the game. They start, immediately go into a rotation. It's like a 3-2-1 set, and then they rotate now into a 1-3-2. Great hit by Syracuse, but Connor Gill right there to save Virginia.
Bliss with the hit. He's got his calf and shin wrapped up and is not running at 100%. That's why they had to change that matchup. Wow, Pfeiffer with the pickoff.
All the way down, Syracuse fast break. Springer with a rocket and a great defensive check by Shannon. Shannon saves the play. He got a piece of the shot, 94-mile-an-hour rocket.
And would have been faster had it not been deflected.
Tillman Johnson has been spectacular for Virginia in the second half. Kaufman pressuring, showing the power. Shot up top, follow up, and a score by Springer. They're calling it no goal in the crease. Springer argues, and they're saying no way, goes the other direction. Springer arguing for the push.
That's the dive shot that Virginia, Doug Knight, Michael Watson made so popular the mid-90s that's been taken out of lacrosse to protect the goalies. Springer throwing himself at the goalie's legs, and for safety reasons, that is now illegal to land in the crease when you're shooting.
Bill St. George, the new assignment. Johnny Christmas. Christmas so hard to stay up with. You hear Pfeiffer barking out directions to his defense. Moeller, Brendan Moeller, great speed, good stick, gets past two defenders, pulls it back out. Jared Little up top. Yavoli now with Saul Bliss and a heavily wrapped leg playing defense on him. Now they'll work Saul Bliss in his leg. Yavoli gets a shot, and that ball goes in. Great shot by Yavoli. Quint, they put Yavoli on Bliss, knowing that Bliss is not 100%, and Saul Bliss just lost some mobility with that injury. You see his leg wrapped up.
These young kids, these freshmen that we've watched today have been awfully impressive.
Syracuse offense.
Spencer Wright from Brian Nee on the extra man. That gave Syracuse a 7-6 lead. And then Mike Powell, maybe the individual play of the game. Just handling the defense, kicking it inside to Springer. The differential in this game could be a lot worse if it wasn't for Tillman Johnson. Split save down low, robbing Powell. And then he makes it look so easy against Spencer Wright. You talk about smoothness, cat-like quickness, a guy who's focused right now, trying to get his team into the national finals. It's Tillman Johnson.
Mike Powell looking to get set. He's on his offensive end, just resting. Tillman Johnson really is playing his A game today. He has been sensational. This is Virginia on the extra man, shooting high over top of the goal. 12 saves for Johnson on the day. Pfeiffer's being tested right here with this extra man for Virginia. They have a chance to tie the game to start this fourth quarter, much like in the exact same way as Syracuse tied it to start the third. Or actually, they went ahead 7-6 at that point. Christmas, Rotelli, back to Christmas, and great save by Pfeiffer.
Christmas got away with one there. He put his hand on the ball. Trouble here. Pfeiffer's caught out.
Ball's picked up. Pfeiffer gets back in place and is picked off by Syracuse. Glatzel. Incredible anticipation by John Glatzel. He just lets it loose. And look at Kaufman pull it down. He senses a little bit of unsettled defense. Back door. Easy finish for Springer, who's having a career day on the offensive end.
Glatzel deserves the credit for this pickoff. Unbelievable. Picks it off. And then the length of field pass to Kaufman. How he knew he was open, I don't know. That's Virginia pressing. They got a great opportunity. There he is. The eraser, Glatzel. And then it looks like he's just sending this to nobody. And it's on a line right to Kaufman's breadbasket. Next thing you know, they got a 2-on-1 and a momentum-changing goal for Springer. Starts with Glatzel. It finishes with Springer.
Kaufman, 3 assists on the day. What a momentum buster, Quint. Could have tied the game. Glatzel makes it a goal for Syracuse, a 2-goal swing. Could be critical to the outcome of this game. We'll see how it unfolds. Moeller gets the offense calmed down. Pfeiffer had to come up big initially to start that off. Glatzel with a big play. The defense stepping up, even with the absence of Saul Bliss. Virginia now pressing from the side. A.J. Shannon works that left-hander side.
Go early.
Brett Walker is playing defense. There's the big shot from up top. Virginia now losing that possession with Justin Mullen getting some air time on the offensive end. And Mullen couldn't quite handle it down there, and it comes back, and they can't handle it on the Syracuse end. A little bit of a limp from Billy St. George. This team is getting thin on the defensive end, Quint, and the defenders dropping like flies. Tillman Johnson comes out, active outside of the box for clearing purposes. Ferrone brings the ball down, gets it behind, and they set up again. Yaboli.
Balls it out. Pick coming down.
The freshman with more goals than anybody else on the offensive end. What a year that Christmas and Yaboli have had. Connor Gill trying to get open. Glatzel giving a little bit of room. Picks it up on the end line. Glatzel tying up his hands, putting the ball down, but Connor Gill picks the ball up. Nice move as he comes in and just steadies himself against Glatzel's defensive push. Behind the back feed. Great look as he tried to hit Justin Mullen on the cut.
A little backdoor cut by Mullen. Kind of a look in the eye type thing, and then you cut to the cage. Gill just being hammered by Glatzel. Right here, count these checks. He just sits on his shoulder, and he's working on that lower hand.
And there's
Mullen
the
with the
feed
backdoor
inside.
cut and the loose ball push. They're running Christmas out of the box now. You got some matchup issues for Syracuse.
Billy St. George comes up to meet Christmas. A.J. Shannon in, close off the pipe. Shannon had his man beat, and that one comes off the pipe. He had beaten Mike Smith. St. George, Christmas. Inside, Christmas buries it. 10-9. Third goal of the game, a hat trick for Johnny Christmas.
Christmas was given a rest by Coach Starsia for about 2 minutes there. They brought Mullen in. They finally said, Johnny, you got your air back? He said, yes, put me in. Here he comes down the side against St. George. And you see his quickness is regained after the little breather. Beats Pfeiffer. No help defensively for Syracuse. You got to recognize that matchup and support Christmas with the hat trick.
He has been very hard to mark in this game. John Desko, knowing the challenge of his defensive players, Sal Bliss on the sideline with a leg injury, and Virginia collecting a lot of control off the faceoffs. Connor Gill, you talk about this matchup, Gill and Glatzel. You're looking at the bottom of the screen. Quint goes back to high school, but Connor Gill is so much stronger and bigger than he was back then.
That matchup will not define the remainder of this game. It's going to be up to guys like A.J. Shannon, Rotelli, and Yavoli.
Tried to squeeze that one inside. Justin Mullen getting a lot of playing time, number 22 in this second half. A.J. Shannon with some room up top. Let's see what he does against Brett Walker. Connor Gill elects to take it. Glatzel gives it to him and just gets set to keep him out from in front of the goal. From his knees, Gill back up. He's got Yavoli behind. Double team and a hold call against the Syracuse Orangemen. This will give Virginia a chance to tie the game in an extra man.
Two awful strong players. Gill trying to back in Glatzel. The check is made. It was a successful check. The double team, though, might have been the hold. Look at Glatzel, rock solid. He's sitting down low in a chair. There's the hold right there by Vidash, the freshman. Glatzel probably upset that Vidash came and double teamed him. As a senior, you got a freshman come and bail you out there. You say, hey, I had that guy. I was okay. He didn't have me beat, but it was a nice double team because Gill couldn't see it coming.
Also, Glatzel wasn't in great position. He was holding with a stick, which you can't do. You can hold with your hands, but not your stick. And he was in a little bit of trouble. Syracuse a little short-handed, Quint. Bliss out of the game. Watch this shot and a great save by Pfeiffer. He is down. He could be hurt. That come off his leg. Unbelievable second half he's having. The defensive end of the field is the walking wounded on this game. These guys are getting beat up. Bliss on the sideline. When you get a penalty to your defensive guys, you are really light as you go 6-on-5. 14th save of the game for Pfeiffer. 3-3 formation. Watch the far side. Yavoli gets stuffed by Pfeiffer again. And the ball's loose. Watch out.
Ball was in. There was interference. It's going out here.
Syracuse ball on the wing, I believe.
Interference was the call.
Interference with the goalie. Pfeiffer made a really nifty save on this last shot. His best save is low to his off-stick side. He's got a terrific move. He's a left-hander, and he gets that foot out and efficiently made that save.
Syracuse really dodges some pressure there as they get the ball back on their offensive end. Springer, career day for him, 4 goals. He was 3 goals, a hat trick against Virginia early in March when they played. That was a huge defensive stand, and Quint, Jay Pfeiffer really has to be credited with that defensive hold. And look at Tillman Johnson on the other end. Outlets quickly. Fast break with Moeller. Brendan Moeller turns right around. Finally gets checked from behind. They don't call the play. In front, Yavoli. He finishes. It's a tie game. It all started with Brendan Moeller pushing the fast break from the Tillman Johnson outlet.
The save by Johnson gets him going. Desko trying to remain positive. The tail end of this play, this is just a lucky bounce if you're for Virginia. Look, the ball's on the ground. Vidas comes up with it, loses it, but where does it kick? Directly to Yavoli, who's cherry-picking behind the Syracuse defense. Here it is, great defense right there. Trey Whitty made the check. Yavoli cans it down low. We're tied up at 10.
Third tie of the game. The game was tied at 6-7, and now 10. 9 minutes left. Virginia really doing a great job on the face-offs as they try to pick up on their defensive end. And Mike Powell has just put his team in a man-down situation again. Quint, it is so hard when your team has one of your starters out to play man down. Sal Bliss has been out with the injury, and now you play man short. Very tough to ask your defense to do that.
And Virginia's awful comfortable with Connor Gill as the trigger man. You give him time, you give him space, he can make really great passes. Just a clear push. Powell running down the crown of the field, had a lot of speed, expected Holmes to turn the corner. Holmes never did, and he just ran him over. Connor Gill's the key, though, to this extra man. Right now he's behind the cage. He's such a great distributor. He knows where the open man is, and he usually puts the ball where he needs to.
Starts in that 2-3-1. The rotation comes up. Jarrett Little goes by. Rotelli gets it to Christmas, down to Connor Gill. Gill far side, skips a man. This is pressure. Good defensive slides by Syracuse.
That's the pass, though. He splits the defense to the weak side.
Yaboli fakes it to his side. They make the defense rotate to the ball. Christmas with the big shot, but he can't get it past the defensive checks of Glatzel. Glatzel trying to get possession. Two men on him. Now he's on his knees. Glatzel's not there. They've got numbers. Christmas inside. Tries to get it behind and finally does. Yaboli up top. Rotelli. Shot by Shannon. That was a very scary moment for Syracuse. Things were unsettled, and Virginia had big numbers.
They're working awful hard on both sides of the ball right now. Glatzel coming up that loose ball, double-teamed immediately.
Rotelli, hard shot, blocked again by Syracuse. First, it was Glatzel blocking the ball down. Team at even strength. Looking for a timeout, Quint. Talk to me, buddy.
Back to even strength.
Yaboli comes around, and a great read by Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer, I believe from the inside, is better low than he is high. You got to fake him and then shoot. He's all over that low shot by Yaboli.
Connor Gill sets behind the goal. Great defense by Syracuse to get out of that one. It was really intense pressure and some good looks at shots, but they come out of it still tied at 10. Virginia with possession. Teams at even strength. Connor Gill taking his time. Gives it to A.J. Shannon. They might try this matchup with Brett Walther, the junior midi, out of Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Shannon getting a little bit of a breather. Starts his power move. Looks back door. Little couldn't get the ball to fall. Rotelli. He had some room on that one, and time just missed the corner.
Syracuse awfully packed in on defense. Looks like a zone. These two teams going toe-to-toe. The fatigue factor for the winner could be big on Monday. Right now, over the next 6.5 minutes, it's going to come down to heart. It's going to come down to who can make the big play.
Christmas inbounds. A.J. Shannon goes behind. This is what we would call an invert. The traditional midfielder going behind the goal. Not as much a factor today as the attacking midfielders pretty much play the same position. He tried to go to Christmas back door, couldn't find the handle. Billy Gladding coming up with possession to Rotelli.
And a long possession. Yeah, this has been a long possession by Virginia. Really trying to work this Syracuse defense.
Glatzel with Gill on him. Gill gladly gives it up. Rotelli. This is their best, their #1 guy in the midfield, number 25. He sees a little space, double teamed, inside, missed Gladding. Connor Gill, rocket, and look at Pfeiffer pick it out of the air.
Pfeiffer was all over that shot. Gill looked him low and then just tried to beat him to the near post. And Pfeiffer smooth, unofficially 17 saves.
Mike Smith takes the clearing pass. Mike Smith still pushing. For some reason, tried to go against 3 defenders, and the ball's still loose. Brian A trying to dig it out. Mike Powell, he's in the open field. Powell inside and underneath. The goalie cannot get it to hit the net. He dances in the crease. I don't know if it would have counted had it gone, but Powell put big-time pressure on Tillman Johnson. Crowd oohing and eyeing on either end with these acrobatic shots. 5 minutes will decide who faces Princeton on Monday. Rotelli. Big shot. Pfeiffer calmly snags it. Steve Cypher's talked to us before the game about his demeanor. And boy, is he a cool customer down there. Now Syracuse and Quint, I don't think they've had the ball. It doesn't seem like they've had it 1 minute in the last 8.
They had 1 goal in this 4th quarter, but that happened real quickly. It was that long pass from Glatzel to Kaufman. They have not had a solid offensive possession.
That last goal of theirs was 10 minutes ago. Kaufman, the leader on offense with Mike Powell. Well, Ballon can't miss it. The ball goes right past the stick. Picked up again, this time by Tom Hardy. Hardy powering in against A.J. Shannon. Goes 6th side, and look at Tillman Johnson. Beautiful release to Brendan Moeller. Moeller's got speed. Slap check won't stop him. Brendan Moeller, the senior from Catonsville. He'll shoot, no tie, and go ahead. Moeller gives Virginia an 11-10 lead. Great transitional offense from Tillman Johnson to Brendan Moeller, who they want to get the clear.
Have not had a solid offensive possession.
That last goal of theirs was 10 minutes ago. Kaufman, the leader on offense with Mike Powell. Well, Ballon can't miss it. The ball goes right past the stick. Picked up again, this time by Tom Hardy. Hardy powering in against A.J. Shannon. Goes 6th side, and look at Tillman Johnson. Beautiful release to Brendan Moeller. Moeller's got speed. Slap check won't stop him. Brendan Moeller, the senior from Catonsville. He'll shoot, no tie, and go ahead. Moeller gives Virginia an 11-10 lead. Great transitional offense from Tillman Johnson to Brendan Moeller, who they want to get the clearing going with. He's got the speed. He's got the go-ahead goal.
And old-school midfield play. Starts with the save. This is Moeller. It's a 4-on-4. A good time for Moeller to dodge. He runs by Kaufman. No help. Buries it past Pfeiffer. Moeller, last season, really known as a defensive specialist. Virginia had new assistant coach. Mark Van Arsdale said, hey, Moeller, we're going to give you the confidence. We're going to back you. Take some chances on offense. And he has delivered this season.
Virginia has really owned the face-off circle in the second half, and they get another one. Now they've got the lead and the ball. Under 4 minutes to go, and the Virginia Cavaliers looking to control this game, as they have since the opening whistle. They scored the first 3 goals of the game Syracuse came back and took the lead. But Virginia has scored the last 3 goals to go from an 8-10 deficit to an 11-10 lead.
Ball's in Syracuse's court right now. They got to get out, make a play defensively, get the ball up the field. If this possession starts getting out of control for Virginia, unfortunately, Starsia called a timeout earlier in the 3rd quarter, and he only has 1 right now.
We talked about it. It might have been important later in the game, but right now he's got possession and he's got the lead. And Quentin, when you think about the saves Pfeiffer has made in this half, it could be a 4-goal lead for Virginia.
No question. A couple pipe shots also.
Right defensive check. Pfeiffer reads it beautifully, comes back and gets possession out of the goal. With Pfeiffer out of the goal, they have an extra man to clear, looking to take it up. Kadash bringing the ball up. AMA Motocross coming up next, right after our 2nd semifinal here on ESPN2. John Desko calls a timeout, 2:42, and he is down by 1. He's got to set up a strong offensive showing here to get his team back to a tie situation. Well, Jay Pfeiffer really has been the story. Again, without him, Virginia leads by 3 goals at this point, or 4.
No question, he has been the glue. Watch this rob job against Uvoli from close range. Uvoli again tries to beat him down low. It's Pfeiffer sprawling. Gill tries to beat him up top. Pfeiffer, cool, calm. Not only is he making the save, he's controlling his rebounds. And there he is on the sideline. Syracuse playing without their defender, Saul Bliss. Ties a career high. I'll tell you that personality of his, that calm, cool, collected approach comes in handy on a day like today when there is a lot of distractions.
18 saves, ties his career high, Quint, and he had that career high earlier this season against University of Virginia. 18 saves against him earlier in the season. He may need more than that today, another personal best, if he's going to come out with a W.
Interesting. We got to keep our eye on this Virginia defense right here. Are they coming out in a zone, or are they going to match up man-to-man? They emerge from the huddle. We should be able to tell right away. Playing without their best defender towards the tail end of the season, Mark Kuntz. This has been a terrific effort by all the Virginia defenders. Looks like man-to-man right now.
Spencer Wright, Ryan Soliday, over to Hardy. Back to Kaufman behind the goal, but they're really shagging Kaufman. They're trying to shut off Kaufman from the ball. You can hear Tillman Johnson bark out signals. But they're shutting off
Powell and Kaufman the ball. They're playing basically 4-on-4 with the other players.
Soliday lumbers in and takes the hard shot. They're going to give it to Virginia. A little bit of a lazy run by Mike Powell. He thought he had it, but it was the last-minute dive by Brett Hughes.
When the ball went out, Brett Hughes, the hustle. This clear, huge. Virginia feeling the pressure here.
Well, that could do it. 2 minutes left if they can just keep control in the box. Under 2 minutes, you can see the outline of that box. They're going to have to keep the ball in there.
Stay in.
Puts a little more pressure on Brendan Moeller. Timeout called. Well, they pulled another one out of their hat. Now Starsia, seeing Brendan Moeller in trouble with the double team, on his last timeout.
The stall offense right now. Virginia's got to ice it. They must keep it in that offensive zone.
And you see Starsia with his team going for control and just possession for 2 minutes. He's in a pretty good position. Saul Bliss hurt. Really has extended the Syracuse defense. They're tired. He is fresher than the Syracuse defense at this moment.
Controlling the ball in the 4th quarter has really kept Virginia out of tiring in this game. I thought there was a point in this game where Syracuse was controlling the momentum. It looked like Virginia's defense was getting tired. But their ball control and their work on loose balls in their offensive zone.
Take a look at the brackets. We know that Princeton is waiting with their big win over Johns Hopkins earlier today. And now the 2 and 3 seeds are battling it out. Virginia in front most of this game, are leading now by 1. But the winner of this one will meet Princeton 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday, Championship Monday, right on ESPN. Make sure you don't miss that one. We will be back to bring you all that action. 11 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN.
Virginia will probably handle out of this timeout with John Christmas, their fastest player. Eventually, Syracuse will have to double team here. They'll pull their goalie. Initially, though, I think they'll just play the ball hard until there's about a minute left in the game, and then you'll see Pfeiffer step out.
It's a big gamble. One goal, obviously you can tie it with 4 seconds on the clock. If you let Virginia score again, you're basically sealing your fate. So it's a delicate balance of extending your defense. As you look at the crowd, the Syracuse faithful, boy, they travel some fans, and the Virginia fans are here as well.
It'll be Gill to handle against Glatzel.
Ball's the top of the screen as they pick it up. They've got to get it inside the box, and they will be warned. Glatzel, Gill, the marquee matchup. Connor Gill, the MVP several years ago. Gill trying to buy a call.
Good luck trying to buy a call now.
Glatzel getting set to go for the takeaway check. Trying to get him on the end line. He doesn't get it. Glatzel tried to push him out, and Gill just holding the ball, not taking the bait and going to the goal. Here comes Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's coming out the double team. They try the swim move inside all open. Here comes Connor Gill. Ball still in his stick.
No call. He was hammered.
And Pfeiffer comes out with possession. Glatzel. And Glatzel just throws it away. There's a whole minute left, and Glatzel throws it out of bounds. It's as if John Glatzel thought there was 5 minutes or 5 seconds left rather than a minute and 5 seconds.
That was the play earlier that he was successful in hitting Kaufman with that long pass. But clearly not the way you wanted to bring the ball up the field.
They had to have possession. Here's Rotelli in the open field against Kaufman. Easy move there. He'll go right by Mike Powell. Ooh. He throws Mike Powell with one of Mike Powell's own moves.
Rotelli will carry behind. Christmas is open in front. He's got Pfeiffer on him.
Virginia smelling victory. An upset. It would be the 2 seed against the number 3 seeded Virginia Cavaliers. Syracuse gets it back. Here comes Hardy out of the box. They've got a chance for another shot. Hardy in close. Takes a shot. And Hardy ties the game at 11 with 25 seconds left. The power move of Tom Hardy made it look easy.
It was a 4-on-4 situation. Hardy, with a little confidence, split dodges right to left and nails the corner on a shot Syracuse had to make. This is perfect placement. Overhand nails the corner. No fault to Tillman Johnson's. Terrific jump shot by Hardy. Nails the corner. Huge face-off coming up.
Going to the face-off circle. Virginia sends Jack DeVilliers in there. He's been doing that as a specialty all year long. Syracuse squirts it out, but check from behind. Whitty gets a stick on it. Timeout called by Syracuse when they had it in their stick. They will have 11 seconds to win it in dramatic fashion. Virginia has to be absolutely emotionally drained. The game was theirs and somehow slipped out of their fingers in the last 10 seconds. They still can win it, but Quint, emotionally tough to come up to this defensive stand.
Here's Hardy picking a good time to isolate. He knows that the defenders are locked on their man, so there's going to be no double team. I mean, who's going to leave Mike Powell to go cover Hardy? Nobody. He realized that, dodged effectively, and nailed the shot. Truthfully, Tillman Johnson's been a wall in the fourth quarter until that shot.
Both Johnson and Pfeiffer have played about as well as you could expect in the goal.
Strategy right now. Syracuse will come out with a set play. You've got to imagine it'll start with either Kaufman or Powell and end up with a shooter like Mike Springer.
They'll have a chance to set it up. Actually, perfect amount of time. 11 seconds, enough to get off a shot. Not enough to go down the other end for Virginia to get one on their side.
11 seconds is enough for Powell to push to the net for himself or Coffin, or draw the double team and maybe get 1 or 2 passes and then a shot. No rush with 11 seconds.
Up top, Trey Whitty playing long stick defense on the inbound. Trey Whitty set to the left of the screen. Whitty playing defense. Big power move up top. They get it down low. Brian Nee, but it's Tillman Johnson with a huge save. Brian Nee got the shot they wanted, but Johnson pegged it.
Syracuse went in the 1-4-1 set. Virginia was in a zone. Nobody bumped out to cover Nee. He got his shot, and Tillman Johnson makes his 15th save and the biggest of his career.
An emotional lift for a team that was down for a moment. Syracuse almost pulls it out. Nifty move up top. Dump it down to Brian Nee. Open shot, and Johnson just turns it away. Syracuse scored that goal with less than half a minute to tie the game and send it to overtime. We'll be back with OT from Rutgers. Barnsdale, the new coach to the right. Dom Starsia, head coach with a V on his hat. This team played an inspirational game. Got off to a 3-0 lead. Had the lead and the ball with 30 seconds to go. A little infraction, gave it back to Desco, Johnny Desco and his team. They scored with less than 30 seconds left. And now we go to OT. The winner of this will play Princeton on Monday morning at 11 o'clock. Overtime rules, Q.
4 minutes will play. Sudden victory or sudden death, depending on which way you like to think about it. Each team gets 1 timeout. If this face-off is won and the team carries into the offensive zone, don't be surprised if a timeout is called immediately.
Face-off is what it's all about as they scramble for possession. The Villiers can't get it. Finally does. Back to the middle of the field. No possession yet, but the teams are released. Finally Syracuse, and they'll call a timeout. You can tell the intensity of the work for the loose ball, how important the possession was. Johnny Desco burns his timeout. They want this shot to count.
This is how we got to overtime. It was Hardy in transition, right to left jump shot move. Somehow got the ball past Tillman Johnson. Hardy realizing that Virginia's defense was really locked up on their men and that he had space to create the reaction on the sideline. Glances up at the clock, says, hey, I knew we could do it. I knew we could do it.
And Quint, it's a tremendous location. You watch how Tillman Johnson played that shot. He was perfect.
I thought he played it well.
The location of the shot was absolutely perfect. It was on the off-stick pipe bounce shot, which is almost impossible to stop.
And moving one way, shooting the other way. So Tillman Johnson was stepping to his right and the ball popped to his left.
AMA Motocross coming up next. Stick with us. We will be going to the AMA Motocross right after the conclusion of this overtime game. Semifinal matchup. The number 2 seeded Syracuse Orangemen and the number 3 seed Virginia Cavaliers. Kingpins in Division I lacrosse. And the next goal will send the winner to meet Princeton on Monday, 11 a.m. on ESPN. Our coverage will be right here at Rutgers, bringing you all the action. We look forward to seeing you on Monday at 11. Possession off the face-off. The ball will be in the stick of Syracuse.
Mike Powell going to be the trigger man here with Kaufman. You got the 2 shooters, Springer and Nee. And it looks like Hardy and Spencer Wright inside. It's a 1-4-1 isolation for Powell. Give him the freedom and space to create.
Brad Hughes trying to stay with the speedy Mike Powell. Powell trying to draw a double. Up to Hardy, who scored the game-tying goal. He's powering in. Great defense by Nick Russo.
Power on power. Russo and Hardy.
Trey Whitty now playing defense against Spencer Wright. Kaufman trying to get open. Good job of cutting him off by Steve Holmes. Now Hardy, who tied the game, will have a chance against Nick Russo to end it. Hardy, power move. Brian Nee, and the stick check by Whitty puts it back to Virginia. Nick Russo, he's going on a fast break. Spencer White cuts off the fast break, but here comes Connor Gill. Great play, and now timeout by Dom Starsia as they set up their plan for the winning goal.
Aggressive defense by Virginia. Nee got his shot. The windup just took too long. He couldn't uncork it. The sliding Virginia defense got to his stick, and then the clear by Russo.
Can't get any more dramatic than this. Watch Nee drop out up in the middle of the screen.
Right there, Trey Whitty makes the play, steps out to Nee as he was winding up, and got to his hands before he could get the shot goalward. Watch Nee plant his feet, rotate to let it rip, and there's Whitty stepping up and taking one for the team. Wonderful defense. They handle up the field, and Starsia calls timeout. Act 2 of sudden death.
Trey Whitty, 6'3", biggest block of his life. Quint, the shot by Brian Nee, maybe a little farther out than the play would be designed for. He was pretty far out there. If that ball goes through, I can't imagine Tim and Johnson wouldn't have just collected it and sent it the other way.
Virginia's got a lot of options here. Matchup-wise, do you go Gill on Glatzel? I doubt it. I really think they'll let Rotelli or the freshman Christmas handle. Christmas, remember, has been a little quiet in the last 5 minutes, but still, off of all these timeouts, he's got to be fresh and explosive.
He is rested, and nobody has seemed to be able to handle Christmas's initial move. He's getting past defenders all day long. If you remember, in the first quarter, Christmas beat his man flat twice and missed the goal.
Christmas is not on the field.
See if they send him in from the sideline for a matchup.
Looks like they're going to have Shannon isolate against Pusha.
So Quint, I guess, is this all about accuracy of shooting?
It's all about matchups.
Here he comes, Christmas.
Christmas out of the box, yes.
Out of the box. Christmas is who they wanted. They wanted him in the open field, and here he comes. St. George has to meet him in the open field. Christmas will go right by him. Shot wide, and that's what was hurting him in the first half. He just couldn't hit the goal.
He can get to the spot for the shot. He's shooting for the post, though. You don't want Pfeiffer to be able to catch or save. Cut in a fine line with that shot.
Yavoli. He has been a handful today. This could be the matchup of the day. British. Yavoli. Not a good shot. Defense all over. Now, clearing situation for Syracuse. On the run, they're so dangerous. Glatzel. He likes to go to the goal. Bringing the ball down. Glatzel sneaks inside. Doesn't give it up. Glatzel feeling like he can win the game for his team. Out to Springer, who finally controls it. Boy, Glatzel really wanted to take it to the net.
Looking for redemption after that turnover late in regulation. Glatzel sniffed that one out for a while.
So now the sudden death pressure goes back onto Virginia as Syracuse has their second offensive set in this 4-minute sudden death period, the first of however many it takes. Soliday, game tied at 11. Winner plays Princeton in the championship. Kaufman finally gets the ball. Quinn, he hasn't been able to get the ball in the last 6 minutes. Kaufman will try to win the game for his team. Powering in, looking for help. Kaufman changing direction. Out front, Spencer Wright, follow up, ball loose, and Tillman Johnson pulls it down.
Nice clear, they got numbers if they push it.
Trey Whitty up front, the long stick as Nick Russo comes in. Russo gets knocked down, the ball loose. Virginia still corrected. Moeller and Russo working in a tandem, so powerful in transition and on the defensive end. Again, the second chance. With 50 seconds left, this will be the last probably shot and a chance to win it in the first sudden death. Christmas, he'll have a chance right here. Ball loose, Pfeiffer gets it in his stick. Unbelievable. Pfeiffer calmly picks it out of midair. Billy St. George looking for an opening. Off the sideline. Syracuse.
Short clock here.
Sean Lindsay gives it to Kaufman. Kaufman didn't have an effective move last time. Let's see if Kaufman can get it together in the final seconds of the first overtime. Kaufman working inside, double team. Looks up top, Lawson. Picked up beautifully by Trey Whitty again. Watch the check. Time will expire in the first overtime period. Folks, Fasten your chin straps. We got to do it again. Leg cramps on both ends of the field. Tillman Johnson has been as good as you can be, as well as Pfeiffer. These two guys have played the best game in the goal for a pair of goalies that I've seen in many years. When we come back, our second overtime period. Championship weekend exclusive ESPN coverage of our NCAA Championship Series. Second overtime coming up. It has been a dogfight of the best teams in Division I lacrosse. Watch the goalie play from Virginia.
Tillman Johnson, the poise, the focus to find the ball in overtime, and then at the other end, it's Pfeiffer. Christmas pushes to the cage. The ball clicks out right there. He's all over it. Catches that rebound. Both goalies toe-to-toe.
Steve Cyphers, this game is getting critical, and the two goalies you talked about are a big part of it.
Leave, one thing to note about these two teams' overtime history. They played each other twice in overtime regular season. They are 1-1. Syracuse this year is 1-0, having beaten Brown in overtime. Interesting to note, Syracuse tournament record in overtime, 2-3. In semifinal games, 0-2.
The pressure on the defense of Virginia.
Timeout, Syracuse.
Coming off of the face-off victory, Syracuse with an unlikely fast break off the face-off. Virginia's been doing such a great job there with the Villiers. But now Desko will have the first chance in the second overtime to put pressure on Dom Starsia and his Virginia Cavaliers.
In the first OT, their initial play started with Mike Powell. Virginia chose to stay man-to-man. We haven't seen the zone defense for a while. If you're Syracuse again, I think you got to go back to your strengths. Josh Kaufman or Mike Powell. Everything feeds off of their ability to run past their man.
AMA Motocross coming up right after the finish of this overtime game. Could end any second, and we'll be taking you right to the AMA Motocross on ESPN2. John Desko. He's been in so many of these big games. Both teams loaded with talent. I think the two goalies today, Quinn, have played collectively as good a game as I've ever seen. They have been sensational.
Both teams going toe-to-toe in an all-out effort.
Now that's Whitty. He's been down 2 or 3 times with leg cramps. Now that's Whitty. He's been down 2 or 3 times with leg cramps. Remember how important Whitty was blocking the passes. Let's watch if he is effective out there running on that leg that's cramping up. Number 15, Trey Whitty. Jay Pfeiffer, 19 saves today, a career high. The career high was 18 set against Virginia earlier in the season. Tillman Johnson, 15 today, and he has been unbelievable as well.
Springer handles. He scored the overtime game-winning goal against Brown.
Tom Hardy put it into overtime. He'll get a chance possibly to send it into a victory column. He takes the bounce shot again, same placement when he just missed it.
He had Johnson a little off balance. The shot was on the slow side, and sometimes that can be confusing.
Michael Powell, causing problems all day long, now has the ball. Saladin, rocket. Big save by Tillman Johnson. Ball loose still, and it'll be picked up by Tom Hardy. Push, ball, Cavaliers ball.
On the loose ball in front, the rebound.
I tell you, we've seen a lot of pushing as Nick Russo brings it up. And now, of course, a timeout called by Dom Starsia. Predictable control by 2 head coaches trying to get the winning goal. Tough call to make in the second overtime push. How many pushes have we seen not called? And it was a good call, but I tell you, this game has been very physical late and in the overtimes. They've had a lot of different mixes. John Desko now setting up his defense against probably Johnny Christmas initiating the offense.
Here are the Syracuse attempts on that last possession. The first of the second overtime. Hardy right there. You see Johnson just kind of lunging at that. The ball stays inbound. Desko reaction, thinks it may go, doesn't. The frustration then on the push call, as that push call becomes a turnover, and now Virginia will control. If you're Virginia, you got to go to Christmas.
He's had the shots. Quint, The only thing that Christmas hasn't done is hit the net very often. He's getting his shots almost every time. Last time the ball popped out of his stick. The time before he just missed the goal. In the first 2 minutes,
Virginia, when Christmas handles, is the other players need to occupy their men and give him some space, because his speed does require that he gets some space. So you've got to occupy your men. I would expect Syracuse to really double up on Christmas quickly, force him to pass the rock.
They'll start with Rotelli, number 25. Their All-American midfielder. He comes out to get it. You're looking at Johnny Christmas. But Rotelli, 25, will start with the ball. Rotelli has room. The pick works. The shot wide of the net. Wow, that was a scary moment. He was wide open.
A simple pick play. Syracuse a little slow to switch up.
Yavoli. Christmas on the wing. Billy St. George can't get the ball out of his stick. Christmas wants to end it right here. Goes for the corner, and it goes high. He says he was in the crease. Referee called. Christmas dances on the line. It goes to Syracuse. Again, Johnny Christmas's athletic ability gets him within eye-to-eye sight of the goal.
A last-second check. Let's see if he steps on the line. No. No. Don't see it. Don't see him in the crease on that possession.
Tough call for Christmas, who looked like he just played it perfectly. UVA out shooting Syracuse 54-48. And now Syracuse, second overtime, and their second offensive set in this second overtime. Tillman Johnson tapping the pipe. And you hear him barking out defensive signals. Soliday's got the great outside shot, but Brendan Moeller has plenty of speed to keep up with him. Mike Springer gives it to Hardy, who has really turned out to be the matchup. Hardy against Nick Russo, and Hardy gives it up. Brian Soliday likes his left hand. Let's see if he goes for it. Brendan Moeller will go across the back of the goal to Kaufman. Kaufman definitely has enough leadership and veteran experience that he wants to end it. He wants to take this team on his shoulders. Kaufman pressuring in. Springer with the big gun.
Hughes hanging tough. Hughes hanging tough on that defense.
Springer inside, misses the mark. Ball tipped, but stays on the thick grass. 106. Coming down, second overtime, Kaufman. Two-time trophy finalist. Turns and fires. Powell picks it up. Tries to get it back to Kaufman, can't do it. Will it stay on this half of the line? It does. Hardy picks it up. Can Hardy get momentum right here and go right to the cage? Hardy with a little bit of room against Nick Russo.
How many times can you ask Tillman Johnson to bail you out? That was a serious save.
Hardy's got a little bit of rest now. Takes Russo to the cage. Reverses space. Comes back. Fakes high. Goes low. Hardy single-handedly wins it against the Virginia Cavaliers. What a game for Tom Hardy, and what a tough loss for Virginia and their sensational goalie, Tillman Johnson. He was left to hang out to dry with a great move behind the goal.
Hardy coming in. Only 12 goals on the season, but he was a senior. And I guarantee that's why Coach Desko put him on the field. Scored the game-tying goal with 25 seconds to go.
Syracuse wins in double overtime, and they get the right to meet Princeton in the finals. Virginia, what can you say? They were good enough to win. They just didn't get it done. Watch that move right there. That was the move that made it. Fake, high, go low. Hardy with a great final 15 minutes of this day.
Game-tying and game-winning goal. A midfielder behind the net. He hangs his defender up. There's no help there defensively. The reaction shot on the sideline. 4 years in a row, that man, John Desko, is going to the finals.
The finalizer move by Hardy, made famous by the Powell brothers. That'll seal the win for the Syracuse Orangemen. They'll be in the finals. It'll be Monday at 11. Our congratulations to both teams. Once again, our final score, Syracuse 12, Virginia 11. They will meet Princeton on Monday. Coming up next, folks, we'll have the AMA Motocross. But first, take a look at this final score, 12-11 and 2 overtimes. You'll see how the teams are ending up as Princeton waited for the winner, Syracuse in 2 overtimes. That'll be Monday at 11. Join us on ESPN. Coming up next is the AMA Motocross, and you will see that very shortly. For Quinn Kesnick, Steve Cyphers, I'm Lee Felsmo. Thanks for watching.